Moving to Florida, is it really that much better here? We're getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, and if you are looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time. I'm getting calls from people every single day asking questions about what it's like to live here and how I might be able to help them. Well, first way to help you is go to my website, ournextfloridahome.com. That's where you can start your property search. Maybe you'll be able to find all the things you're looking for there, but if a question does pop up, you have to do like all these other people. You've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. Okay, so moving to Florida, is it really that much better being here? Well, it really comes down to perspective because you have to make it what you're going to make it. I'm going to start with something I normally don't do, but this stuck out so much because a person posted on one of these websites. I think it's called Open Door or Next Door or one of these neighborhood things, and she's basically complaining about what expenses there are here and how difficult it is to get appointments and all these other things. And I started thinking about this, and I'm saying, is that really just Florida, or is that because of all this pandemic stuff and all the processes have changed? I know me even trying to go get blood drawn for an annual physical has been a chore. Many of the labs here, they don't communicate. They've moved locations. They don't let anybody know. You can't get anybody on the phone. That's something that's got to be super annoying to most everybody. You can't speak to a human being anymore. You've got to text, email, and all these other fun things. So therefore, on that note, if you do need to speak to me, you can call me. I will talk to you. Anyway, she was complaining about all these things and the expenses of living here. You've got to look at trade-offs too. And there was a couple people that commented on her post and basically said, look, man, you're here in Florida. You don't have a lot to complain about. I mean, you've got great weather most of the year. Yes, I get it. It can be a little hot at times, but that's what air conditioning is for. That's what a pool's for. That's what the ocean is for. Get yourself down there, take in the breezes. You'll be just fine. Anyway, if you are experiencing some of these things, some of the expenses, yes, pricing on the homes, we're going to go over that shortly here, so stick around for that. As far as expenses at the gas pump, yes, we've got the problems just like all the other parts of the country. I do notice even going from Fort Myers to Cape Coral, there can be a pretty big difference in gas prices just crossing a bridge. Why? I don't know. Everybody gets to name their price, but that's one of the things that I am noticing. As far as expenses of things in the store, pretty much across the board, you're going to see small increases, and you're going to see it from different suppliers, whether it's Publix or Walmart or Aldi's. Everybody's going to have these increases, so bear with it, do what you have to do, and just enjoy why you decided to move here. Remind yourself, what brought me to Florida? And just take that part in and enjoy that. The other part of her complaint was that she isn't able to meet the neighbors or hasn't been meeting people. Somebody mentioned the New Resident Club, so go to capecoralnewresident.com and you can join a group of people that came to the area around the same time you did, and now you form a little social group that you have your gatherings because you're all new to the area. So you can share your experiences, you can share some of the things that you found out, and this is how you're going to build your network coming to a new area. This next thing is, I gotta chuckle at this because Zillow has been around for a very long time, and many people relied on their information for a very long time. And now we all know about this situation of them buying all these homes as a corporation and now having to sell them all off. Well, my client, believe it or not, was one of those people. And he had Zillow come in and buy his home for $595,000 in Texas, and he just saw that it was resold through Open Door for $540,000. Now, you're talking a sale in the same year. That is a huge blow for a company that should know better. If your Zestimate works well, why didn't it work there? But that's just one example, and it's actually a personal story. Rick, thank you so much for giving me that information. I hadn't known anybody that actually had this happen to them yet, but he came out on the good side of things. He's happier for it, and just gives us one more reason why we need to dig deeper and get the information necessary before we make decisions. Now, this market is pretty crazy, and we're hearing stories all the time now of people selling off their properties because the profits are through the roof. Cape Coral is thought to be one of the most profitable areas in the country, but if you look at this chart, we're 32nd. We're not even close to first, and that's at 62% of profit. If you look at somewhere like Boise, Idaho, I mean, who would ever figure Boise, Idaho? I've never been there, so maybe it's a great place. 130% is what the profit is in this area from Q3 last year to Q3 this year. That is the improvement. They're number one in the nation. So again, you may think things are expensive here and prices are through the roof for housing, but at 32nd, we're not the worst for sure. All right, so we're going to go through some median pricing and give you some information related to single family homes and condos. First thing to mention is that in the last 24 hours on our MLS, we had 127 new listings come up, 121 actually closed, and then 161 went pending. So as you can see, there are more homes leaving the market than coming on. This is what's causing this low inventory and giving us so many fits when trying to find a home. Now, the median prices of things, they've also steadily gone up on single family homes. For the Cape Coral and Fort Myers metro areas, we were at around $315 in January of this year, and now it's up to $385. So yes, a bit of a jump. 70K is a big number, and that's all in 1 year. And again, remember, this is median, so there are many, many homes. There's, I think, 11,000 listings that are in this sampling to get these averages. This is just what to expect. So if you're coming into the area and you're looking for a new home, just know if you want a decent home, you're starting in the threes. That's just what it is. Add a pool, it goes up. Add golf access, goes up even more. Be careful what you're choosing and picking, and be sure it's really a necessity and you're really going to be using it, because extra square footage or canal access, if you're not using it, why get it? Now, when we look at multifamily properties, this is condos, townhomes, villas, all these different styles where they're connected to one another. The median price of this was at $196 back in January and is now up to $240. So it is still a very nice gain. Condos will never keep up with single family homes as far as the values, but this is still a very healthy increase, especially for multifamily, because multifamily doesn't have this kind of jump normally. But as you can see, we're not in a normal market, are we? Okay, so I got some information this week. I was really excited about it, thinking that this could be the future of what we have coming for our area, but alas, it's not everything that it sounded like it was going to be. What this is a low-income kind of housing, brand new apartment complex. It's called Cypress Village. It's over in Fort Myers, and a 1-1 condo, 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo, is $750 a month. I mean, that's pretty great for this market to be able to get something that's under $1,000. Even better, a 2-2 is $950, or just over $950 is what they said. That's great. And there's amenities in this place. You have, the clubhouse and the pool and different kind of social gathering areas that are in there, just like you would in any other community. Now, it is income restricted, but one of the things that was disappointing, well, let me tell you a little bit more about the positives. They have an actual training program for the residents there to help them continue their skills to keep jobs. Because remember, this is for low income. There's also a certain number of units set aside for homeless families. So they're doing everything they can to help out. Now, the one thing that I found a little bit depressing is there's an 18 to 24 month wait to get in this place. So we have all these units available, but they go so fast because there's not many of them. We're hoping that many more of these types of things can come in, or many more places to offer housing, but this is definitely one of the types that's needed in our area, and honestly, we just don't have. Now, one of the things we've talked about, and I saw another article this week that did say, hey, if you're not winning your house in all these bidding wars, go to new construction. Yeah, we talked about that. New construction is great if it's available and if it's offered. Now, this is where it gets challenging. New construction is not the same all the way around. Some of these builders are going to give you the opportunity to secure a property and do it as an end loan. That means you put a small deposit down now, $1,000 to $5,000, anywhere in that range, and they will build the house for you. You get the loan at the end, closing the home. It's yours for that new mortgage that you have. A construction loan is you're going to go get a loan in advance that has a draw schedule set up so that you will have it paid to the builder in different stages of construction, like at foundation, when the trusses go on, those types of things. At the end of this, you have to get another loan, which is the end loan that basically pays for that construction loan. Now, there's a third type that actually puts the two of those together. It's a construction to perm loan. And this cuts out half of the closing costs, because if you do the previous type, the construction, and then the separate end loan, you have to pay closing costs twice. So the construction to perm loan, this one will allow you to take out the construction loan and have it already set up to roll into a permanent loan at the end of construction. You may need that with some of these builders. There's a few builders that'll hold the bill themselves. They're usually the big volume builders. So if you're looking for quality and custom, you're not getting it there. If you want custom or semi-custom and you're not paying cash, you're probably getting a construction loan. Now, when you're looking at these different contractors and these different builders, we've got a lot of new ones here. There's a lot of I have never heard of. I've been in this business 17 years now, and I haven't heard of these companies. So that just kind of tells you, you might want to look twice at what the offerings are and does it make sense. I will tell you the inspectors for the city are the same ones that do all these contractors, unless they're big. If it's a really big builder, they can hire their own inspectors, but they have to follow the standards that are set by the city. And the contractor friends I have, they say that these standards from the city can be kind of rough sometimes. They're very strict. They want things done a certain way. So you're assured to still have a good home, a nice home, and it's going to have a warranty, but think about the things you're getting in it. I had a client contact me the other day asking me about a certain builder, and I started looking at their standard feature sheet, and I'm seeing things like Floratam and thermofoil cabinets. I'm seeing things that are telling me he's getting a pretty subpar setup of a home. So be careful what you're getting in the pricing. The price may look really, really attractive, but you get what you pay for. So if you're paying a small amount, you can expect possibly a little worse product. Pay what the market's asking. Get the things you want in the home the first time. Don't have to upgrade it later. That was one of my mistakes. I did get the property I wanted as far as location. Great lot. My son has plenty of space to play. Good space inside the home, but I also had Formica countertops. I recently changed them out to granite. Yes, costly, but was it worth it? To me, it was. If you can get that in the home up front and have it rolled into your mortgage and not have to come out of pocket, wouldn't that be worth it? Another exciting thing going on in Cape Coral, we've talked about all these different projects that are happening, and if you haven't seen them, look back on some of the other videos. You'll see the different projects that are going to be coming. But another thing that Cape Coral is now starting to talk about is incentivizing businesses to come to the area and hire Cape Coral residents. The reason why this is so important, many of our people have to go across the bridges to work in Fort Myers because we don't have any real light industrial and stuff like that that's in the area. So the more of those kinds of businesses come and hire the people in our area, it keeps them here, cuts out the cost of having to commute, the time away from the family, those kinds of things. So if you are somebody that's going to be living in Cape Coral, hopefully you'll also have somewhere to work in Cape Coral as well. This time of year, we love to talk about Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday, hands down. I just don't even have decorations for any other holiday. This is the only one. And what we have to do in our particular situation is rely on the small things about Christmas that we can get. We're in Florida. I know when I was in Pennsylvania, when we had a green Christmas, I was not a happy camper. I'm like, what the hell? We don't have snow? That's when I was a kid. As an adult, hey, I'm good with green Christmases. But we do get a bunch of light shows. People do a great job lighting up their houses here. And the other thing you can do to kind of give you that little bit of a sense of the holidays is turn on the Christmas music. They start playing that stuff now even before Thanksgiving comes. So turn that on, amp it up, get yourself in the mood, and go enjoy some of these light shows. There's some really great ones that are happening this time of year over by the Edison Estates. They light up the whole place. They have tree decorating contests over there. So check that out, the Edison and Ford Estates. Here in the area, you will have a number of gym choices. So if you're somebody that's a little bit of a health nut, you can obviously get outside and do your bicycle riding and the kayaking and the paddle boarding and all those outdoor activities. But if you want to get serious and you're hitting the weights, or you want some of these different workout programs, even CrossFit, we have a bunch of CrossFit gyms here, if that's your thing. But many of the gyms here, we have a new one. It's called Crunch right over on Pine Island Road and Nicholas. And this place, it combines many of the pieces and parts that you get at some of these other gyms. So what I'm talking about is they have their weight section. they have their workout sections, like their Zumba kind of classes and things like that. And they've actually added the HIIT classes, the high intensity interval training. Yeah, they've got classes on that with the whole setup, the ropes, the weights, the sleds. So if you are that kind of person, they've got it here. They've also got hydro massage beds. They've got hot yoga. There's all kinds of stuff to enjoy here. So if you're looking for a gym, check that out. But there's usually dozens of gyms in this area to be able to find one if that's your thing. All right, another thing about our area that it kind of can feel like Christmas a little bit. I touched on this video a long time ago. This was probably last year we talked about this, but we have something called Florida snow. And it's actually a weed, and these are little flowers, and it grows in the grasses where it can overtake. And it's usually going to be a bahia kind of grass. It can still grow in Floritam, but one of the things about Floritam that you'll notice, it's not really in that grass. And that usually is for two reasons. One, Floritam's a lot thicker. Now, it's a more expensive grass, so many builders don't use it, but it's thicker, and what that helps it to do is choke out the weeds. They can't really grow there. The other thing a lot of people do down here to keep their grasses looking greener and nicer is they have a service come around and a spray for bugs and funguses and things like that. So that will allow you to have these nice green yards, unless you want the feeling of snow, and then you will have these little weeds growing in your front yard. We talked about the market being so hot. So if you're somebody that has been caught in a situation where you're getting forbearances and you're being threatened with foreclosure and stuff like that, don't do it. There's so much equity built in most every home these days. Check with a realtor or a trusted advisor about what the value of the home is and if selling is a possibility. The last thing you want to do is have a foreclosure. This is something that will stick with you for many years. And with the values being so very high right now, it'd be a great time for you to go ahead and keep yourself out of that situation entirely. Now, rental boats. I've got to talk about this because I've been out of my boat a number of times now. And I started paying a little bit more attention to some of the boaters out there. And then obviously you see on many of them the advertisement for the rental company that they are using. Now, I know there's limits to rentals and how many people should be on these boats, but you'd never know it. I mean, they have these things loaded down with a dozen people and it's a 20-foot deck boat. That's probably not the way to go. So you're looking at a lot of inexperience with rentals, with boat rentals. So if you see one coming, just do your best to stay out of its way, because many times these people are not experienced. They're out there to party and have a good time, and they may not be considering you as much as you would like. But that's one of the things that we deal with here. Lots of boat rentals. And if you're a true boater, you know you want nothing to do with that. All right, lastly, Southwest Florida is a very dog-friendly place. Many businesses allow for dogs to come in, and many more are allowing it as we proceed with these new things coming out. So if you're somebody that has a furry friend that you just love and want to take with you everywhere, go ahead. If they're small enough, stick them in a bag. Half the time people won't even know. Otherwise, just walk that dog in there. Most places will allow it. They actually have a place in Fort Myers, Bell Tower, that they call Yappy Hour. I think it's on the second Thursday of the month, something like that. I'll get you some more details about that, but it gives your dog a chance to socialize too. And you get to meet your neighbors. So hey, that person that was saying they want to meet people, get a dog, go to Yappy Hour at Bell Tower, and you're all set. All right, so that's a little bit more about moving to Florida, and is it really better here? I'm gonna say, hell yeah, it's better here. It's because of weather alone that it's better here. But if you're looking for other reasons to consider Florida, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a question for me that I can answer, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.